So this thing,
Yeah.
this is our lathe, which I love this thing. It's great.
What does it do?
So basically, this cuts like circular things. So we use this for a lot of stuff. I would say this is probably our most used tool. It does a wide range of things, from cutting our head tubes to length to making tooling. We also ream our seat tubes on this. But basically, turn it on, and then like I'll cut a section off of this tube. So there we are. Nice clean cut.
Just like that?
Just like that. We're just scratching the surface. This thing is like so versatile. I really love this machine. So these are our milling machines. These are our bridge ports. I love these machines too. They're great. This one specifically we use for a lot of different stuff. Every weird setup, making tools we do on this machine, whereas this one is more set up for specific things. This is set up for actually cutting the faces on the bottom brackets.
Okay.
So you see these posts, these expand in the bottom bracket, and you get a really nice, and these are also set, so like a standard bottom bracket is 68 millimeters.
Yeah.
This will cut it tits on money every time, like perfect.
Okay.
So that takes a lot of the guesswork out of what we do. This is our main tube mitering machine. It also, we have actually, that's a lie. This also does seat stays and chain stays. But this machine is basically covered in jigs. It's got the main tube jig with the V blocks that holds all sorts of weird materials. Like, let me see if I can find you something. So like the cool thing about these is you can put irregular stuff in here. So like this weird teardrop tube, and then like that as well.
That actually fits in there really nicely.
Yeah. So this is where the whole front triangle, this jig right here is like where we do all of that. And this is, yeah, it really speeds up the process.
Like, where do you start in the frame building process after you have the dimensions of the rider and everything?
So the first place we start is actually here. We're checking in all the tubes. We basically have a variety of tubes for different riding styles, size of riders, and different kinds of bikes that we build. We don't do a lot of off-the-shelf stuff because our bikes are kind of weird anyways, and there's, we're kind of specific about what we want. These are track dropouts, so we design these and have them machined. So this is for the track, and then in here we have a lot of the stock. So like here's a dropout set for road. So we got, the flat mount disc road dropout drive side with a removable hanger. And then let's see what else we got in here. Oh, we got through axles, which we actually have two different wall thickness through axles for different size riders. So this is a super light one. You can see it's pretty light wall. Yeah, then we got this shit. We got a topper for the track, which is cool because it's internal. So this section's hidden basically, which makes for a really clean look. It means we can paint that entire tube.
All the way.
Yeah, which is a cool look. What else we got here? We got, so like for our steel frames.
Damn, look at that thing.
Yeah, so this is for an integrated headset. So this is where, your fork would meet your head tube, and then we braze on the rest of the head tube. So this makes it really material efficient because we're not making a whole head tube and then cutting it down and wasting part.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. So this was my design that I'm pretty stoked about.
So the head tubes are technically two-piece when they start.
Two-piece.
Yeah.
and they're like a lot of integrated head tubes, they'll have like 100 millimeter, 110, 120. We can do fully custom lengths.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
So once we've cut everything and formed and drilled and done all that business, then we put in the jig and we get it ready for welding. You've confirmed your geometry, so we have our geometry here. Basically all the numbers that go into making sure, you know, to the millimeter, making sure everything fits together nicely. Then we start our tacking process, and essentially how that goes is this whole jig can rotate. Actually, let me tighten this down. But yeah, you can basically turn this however you want. So we're able to really get in there and weld. Start by tacking in plane with the frame, because essentially heat is going to move things. Like heat really screws with your alignment. So the whole trick to welding and, you know, building bikes is knowing how to manipulate that to your favor.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so essentially you're trying to weld in plane with the frame to keep all of the warping in line with it, instead of, you know, basically getting the head tube and the seat tube to sit super out of whack with each other. So we have a whole process for how we weld things that when it comes out of the jig and we go to align it, it actually looks good and not like a clown bike.
How many clown bikes have you made over the years?
There's like, yeah, that's my graveyard. So I paid my dues.
Richard's impressed.
Yo, hook me up with the clown bike.
I knew I should have put a mic on there.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is a great frame to throw on there. Let's do that. So basically, once you've finished welding, you can now go to the alignment table, check your work, make adjustments. You take this tool, let me line it up right now. Let's see. Yeah, so you get it to touch the tubes right there. So basically on both sides of the V, if it's touching the tube, that means it's centered. Yeah, so after welding, you're in a good place to, everything's really soft.
Yeah.
For aluminum, it is kind of like Play-Doh, you know? Look. It's my homie's birthday, he just called me. Excuse the mess, because we've been painting like crazy in here. But we have the heat treat oven. So, you know, we can do 6 frames at a time, and we bake them for 10 hours at different temperatures. They basically, throughout the process, you're changing the temperature, and this gets the aluminum to be to its
The right hardness or whatever.
yeah, to its final strength that will actually be good for riding.
Also, the homemade like filter is sick as fuck.
Oh, the
Yeah. Is that the homies in the front?
what, this homemade?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking cool looking.
Yeah, we had to get this tube custom made because it was like, we had this hole in the roof with a fan, but it was such a big diameter that no one like makes.
the tube.
Yeah. You know, what we're working on is making this be the last stop for the frame. So, you know, this, for example, up here we got a customer build, and that's getting ready to get packed up and shipped. So, you know, putting in the headset, you know, making sure everything looks good right before it gets packed up, that happens in here. I think a lot of people have done it where it's like, you know how they run and then they jump on the board?
Yeah.
But it's just, he just keeps running. He like doesn't stop. Yeah, it's so funny.
So we bring to a close the story of rigid control through the unceasing research and the highest quality.